Hello.
Hi there.
Hello, how are you?
Not bad. Yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you.
I'm a language teacher myself,
Okay.
and that's the reason I'm here on this platform, so I can talk with my fellow teachers on the topic of teaching.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Is that okay? I've
Yeah,
prepared
that
a
sounds good.
list with some questions and statements, and I would love to hear your opinion.
Okay.
You've been teaching English for 4 years now?
Yeah, it's about 4 years.
And how long have you been teaching English in Japan for?
I taught English. I don't live there anymore, but I
Okay,
taught there for a year.
okay. And where are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm back in America.
I see, I see.
Mm.
For a year in Japan. Okay, so
Mm.
you've been with Berlitz,
Mm-hmm.
EF, Nova.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I live in Japan myself. And my first
Oh, okay.
question is, what's your honest opinion of the eikaiwa industry in Japan?
Um, well, I can only speak as far as Nova is concerned, and my experience was overall pretty positive. I mean, towards the end, I had some issues, which is why I no longer work for Nova. Um, and so I
With
think
pay
it
or schedule, or you just don't want to
um,
say? Which is fine.
it was kind of the lack of help that I thought I was getting from the administration.
Okay. But, okay, that's perfectly
Mm,
understandable. I was asking from the viewpoint of a language learner,
mm,
not as a teacher.
okay.
What's your opinion? Is that something, is this eikaiwa industry helpful, useful, necessary?
Um, yeah, I would say that I think it's helpful. I don't know, it's kind of one of those things. It's a little strange. I think it just kind of depends. Like the textbooks that we used at Nova, for example, they were good, but they could have been better. But also, the way that Nova structured its classes, like we as teachers could give extra input to students to help them get a little bit more out of the text.
I have a 12-year experience in the eikaiwa industry, not Nova.
Mm.
And I think it's basically a waste of time as far as
Mm.
students are concerned.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot better.
No, I think it's
But
a borderline waste, complete waste of time and money. I'm
oh,
not
okay.
saying just could be better. I think it's just a
Mm.
waste of time. And let me
Okay.
explain why in a single word.
Mm.
I mean, you have experience learning foreign languages yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that how you learned your three foreign languages? What was it? Russian, a bit of Japanese, and
Hmm. And Arabic.
Arabic. Is that how you learned?
No, with those I learned at actual schools at university. Well, and high school for French.
Mm-hmm. As far as I'm concerned, language is a tool for acquiring knowledge,
Hmm.
acquiring information. And there's no knowledge in a language classroom. You know what I mean? And by knowledge, I don't mean
Hmm.
vocabulary and grammar. I mean
Right.
proper knowledge, proper
Okay.
information. I use the word knowledge and information interchangeably, but I think you can figure out the difference
Mm.
between the two. Knowledge is something which implies interest.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, say marketing through English,
Hmm.
or history through English, or even current news through English, Ukraine and that kind of stuff. And there is
Mm.
no knowledge in a language classroom. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, because it is more geared towards like learning like grammar and vocabulary.
But there's no other, there's nothing
Yeah.
else. Once you
Right. Yeah.
strip the language
Hmm.
of the knowledge, all you're left with is vocabulary and grammar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. No,
that's
I
by
could agree with
far
that.
the biggest complaint people have, is that all they're learning is vocabulary and grammar, but that's what they want in a way.
Hmm.
When you walk into
Mm.
a language classroom,
Mm.
you're with the mindset of learning the language, not learning history or learning physics or learning biology.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So that's what
Yeah.
it's not just Nova. I think Berlitz, EF.
Mm.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, they're all pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So just a year. And you were thinking about pursuing this language teaching path as a career?
Yeah. Like before then, I was working in law firms mostly, and I mean, it was fine, but I just personally found it more interesting and more worthwhile to teach English.
I think it's a dead-end job. I
Mm.
honestly believe that from experience, but it's a free world. I wanted to ask you about this Cambly. Again, I think it's same with
Mhm.
Nova, Berlitz, and this EF thing. The way Cambly hires people is by saying get paid to chat with people from around the world.
Mhm.
And I think companies like Berlitz, Nova, as long as you're a native and you have some kind of college degree,
Yeah.
you're perfectly fine. Cambly doesn't even require a college degree, but anyway. My question is, have you ever paid for conversations with foreigners?
Yes, through italki.
You have paid.
Yeah.
And
It depends on the teacher actually. Like I went through like I don't know how many. Well, actually, Arabic and Japanese teachers. Some of them I thought I was getting something out of it, and then others it's
getting what?
um, like just being
Vocabulary
able.
and
I
grammar?
felt yeah, I felt well yeah, I felt like my language skills were developing with those teachers.
To me, speaking is a byproduct of knowledge acquisition. So, I mean, it's interesting again, excuse my bluntness, but the stories we tell ourselves. You are a foreign language learner yourself. You've taught foreign language, and you're still finding value in italki lessons.
Sometimes, I mean, it would depend on the teacher.
What is the role of a language teacher, in your opinion?
To help the student be able to express themselves in like whatever language they're learning.
To be able to help the student express, to help the student speak.
Mm.
But there's no end to that. I mean, the number of combinations of sentences one can make.
Yeah.
How can a teacher help with that? I mean, there's no end to that.
Well, like I mean, like some students they'll have like specific needs, like they need to learn English for work, and so um, as long as you have like a good understanding of how it is that they're using English or what they need English for, then you can kind of direct them towards that goal.
Teach them vocabulary and grammar, basically. Idioms, words, and grammar.
Yeah, probably.
Hmm. So you have paid for conversations. Would a native speaker of English pay you to have a conversation?
In English, no.
In English. You see what
Or I
I'm
can't
getting?
imagine a situation where they would, yeah.
You see what I'm getting at?
Mm.
Why would a native feel super unnatural, strange to pay for speaking, but a non-native find it completely normal to pay for speaking?
Well, I mean, I would imagine it's because they're thinking that, like, me as a native speaker have some sort of knowledge that will help them to be able to speak English better.
By knowledge,
And
you
so,
mean vocabulary and grammar.
yeah. So, I mean, speaking to your point, then I think a lot of it is kind of like preconditioned on this idea that, well, we need vocabulary, or we need to learn vocabulary, we need to learn grammar and things like that in order to feel like we can speak whatever language.
But why would somebody pay to get vocabulary and grammar? It's like vocabulary shopping in a way.
Yeah.
I feel, of course, this, what is it, saying or idiom, selling ice to Eskimos, basically.
Yeah.
Buying words, or, their biggest complaint is that they focus too much on grammar and then they pay for vocabulary and grammar. I don't understand
Yeah. But again, I think it's just because of the way that we're taught to think about education, like since we're children, that we need to go to school to get this information. And so
But
we
again,
need to
vocabulary and grammar, as far as I'm concerned, is not knowledge, is not information. Let me tell you, let me give you the full definition. To me, vocabulary and grammar are to a language what glossaries and footnotes are to a book. You understand? Glossaries and footnotes are there to make the message clearer, to give additional information. But the main point is the book, the content of the book, the knowledge. The vocabulary and grammar just help understand the message. But cannot be the focus, unless you want to be a linguist. Because in Japan, it's called eikaiwa industry. It's English conversation industry. And I can't wrap my head around the idea of paying for speaking. Practicing speaking. But you've done it yourself.
Yeah.
I've never paid for speaking. I think you understand the reason I'm here is not to practice my English. Right. I'm here to get information from you. Your experience, your thoughts. That's what I'm here for. On Cambly. I would never, ever pay for speaking. Unless I need a therapy. Are you still paying for Japanese and...
No.
No. Why?
Well, mostly now, just because I'm poor.
But if you had money, would you still pay for speaking? After our conversation, chat.
So I wouldn't be against it. I mean, I do understand where you're coming from. But like in the sort of like mindset that I have right now, I wouldn't be against it, but I would want to make sure that I feel like I'm getting something out of it. And it's not just like, well, let's do page 21 out of the textbook today. Because I could do that on my own.
To me, the role of a language teacher, any teacher for that matter, is to help the student become an independent learner. Teach the student how to learn alone without a teacher. I don't think the role of a teacher is to help the student express themselves. I don't think that's possible. I mean, that's just not possible. That's why I don't think it's the role of a language teacher. And that's why I stopped doing the eikaiwa thing, because I felt I was providing a service I wouldn't pay for. You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely see your argument, but I mean, like, my thing is that just we've been preconditioned for so long to think a certain way. And so, like, to come around to your point.
The biggest problem with language learning is that language is associated with the word speak. Remove the word speak and everything will make perfect sense. Language is a tool for acquiring knowledge. That's it. Period. Get information, acquire knowledge. Language is not for speaking. And that's the most difficult thing for people to understand. Anyway, thank you. Yeah, that's
Sure.
That's what I wanted and needed. And good luck with your future goals, wherever they are.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye. The guy's lost. Completely lost. Teaching a language is a dead-end job. That's to all of you out there, language teachers on YouTube and people who want to become language teachers. Forget about it. Forget about it. Find another job. Find another line of work. Everything you need to know about how to learn a foreign language is in my book, Virtually Native, which is available on Amazon and virtually which is available on Amazon and virtualnative.com. You have one life. Don't waste it.